Okay. Whew, dear. Good afternoon, Rambling Geek. How you doing? I realized as I clicked start stream that I needed to go and take rubbish out. So we had to do that. Luckily, at least I left the starting screen up. How's your Tuesday going? It's only Tuesday. I don't know whether I should be unhappy about that. Okay. Chilled. Okay, that's good. Once will this notice me moving properly? There we go. Okay. On the negative side, let's see if we can't figure it. I suppose that's yeah. That does sound like a negative connotation, doesn't it? Hi, Harry. How are you doing? Not being super productive, but still working on things. Okay. Well, I think my prompt has died. I've unplugged it, plugged it back in. So I've got to rewire everything to see if I've pulled a cable somewhere that I didn't notice because I've not got a prompter. So that's not good. Okay. So the software has an on-off switch. It doesn't recognize it. Windows doesn't know it's there. Windows doesn't see it at all as a screen. Consider adding some Twitch rewards redemptions. Yes. Um, I'm open to ideas there. Let's do some CSS. Let's not. Morning, Stony. How you doing? I'm open to suggestions, Harish, if you have some, as to what sort of redeems would be useful. I do have a few ideas, but it's a case of when and how to implement them. You know, uh, I think we've done that one. So I want to be. Let's see, that one's like. It's Tuesday. It's going to be a hectic week. But it's good. It's good. I too have coffee. It's not stunning coffee today, but it's coffee. Okay, okay. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to start with this journey. So yesterday got me a little bit more motivated. Commit the code as is for 1,000 points. Wouldn't be a bad redeem for a commit. I will grant you that. That's certainly a thing. Friday's a long way to go. Yeah. So I have um, Thursday is going to be a longer stream day. So it's a day off work and it's a day without any family here. So I have, other than getting myself breakfast, it's the only thing that I have to do that morning. So Thursday will be a longer stream day. So hopefully, if we can make some progress on this today, we can get back to dev. Okay, so what I just did when I got up before is I turned on the little box with Kubernetes installed in it. Come on, headlamp. Don't flashbang everyone. You can do it. You can start. Um, I need to organize my desk. I cluttered it up over the weekend because I was moving stuff around. I was going through all my cables and stuff and trying to put them in, sort them into boxes and stuff. I got a big pile of cables organized, like a full box full of cables got condensed into audio, video, power, etc. What specs are you after, Harish? The specs of my machines, specs of the Kubernetes box. I think I have panels underneath for my machines. This machine I'm developing on, or this, the Kubernetes box is an interesting one. It is. I get rid of a load. It was liberating. But I don't know if I'll need that. That's the weird thing with code. 100%. I don't need it. It goes. With cables, no. Nope. No, not throwing out. Go lay down, bud. So the mini PC is that's running the Kubernetes little bots. Did you break something, bud? Okay, go lay down. If I do that, I'm going to get rid of a lot of stuff, but I'm then going to have regret. So yeah, the mini PC that I'm using is this. That's just pasted from the product description. So I've got, that is this little Kubernetes box. So that's 6800 U is a pretty solid machine. The machine I was streaming off of on the weekend. Oh, they replaced the product description. That's not. What? No. They've replaced the product. They've actually swapped out the products. Oh, B-Link. Unless this is. What? Yeah, the machine I was streaming off on the weekend is this one. That's got 16 gig in it. Actually did a pretty good job. It looks like the video's pretty good. Get a box, label it with bin, put them in there, with it, write the data on it, seal it, check it in a year. If you haven't broken seal, you can get rid. My shot got a bonus. Initial thought was to order. Put it to one side, and then when you get back from your vacation and everything's settled again, treat yourself. Happy late summer. This is not 1600HX. The B-Link link is giving me different, how do I find out? APU. Oh no, this is a this one is a 6900HX. It's a Ryzen 9. Sorry, the B-Link site, or the Amazon site was giving me mixed messages. So this is. Oh yeah, I see what it's doing. It's linking to the wrong product now. But this is actually a 6900HX, so this is pretty powerful. 100%. That's what I'm going to do. You know, with it. Yeah. Okay, so enough talking about specs. That just kind of sent me down a bit more of a rabbit hole than I should have gone down. So right now, all this has is all the information, all the spec setup. I've removed unnecessary stuff. I've removed everything else. What's that? Namespaces, Argo CD, delete. LS tunnel deployment, Kubernetes. Still like that. So there is nothing on the machine in terms of pods to worry about. Docker registry is fine. That's a normal thing to have in there. I could use this Docker registry to host all the files and push to that instead. This is what Melaneth was talking about yesterday. By the way, I forgot to do this yesterday. I'm very bad when it comes to shout outs, right? And if you haven't followed him, I would highly recommend doing it. As he said, he's building his own kind of Aspire and has been, wasn't aware of Aspire, similar to how, I've built stuff in the past, but he's building out his own with his own designs. So I would highly recommend going following, keeping out for his streams. It dawned on me after the stream yesterday, I wasn't shouting that out, and I should have been. Okay, so what I want to do, what I'm thinking is, the biggest sticking point in all this is actually the prereqs. It's these pieces plus the tunnel, right? So can I build a version of the application that will give me the ability to bring them up? Because then I can run this, bring them up, and then not touch them again, and then build the application Kubernetes out. But before I go that path, let's figure out if it's possible in app host to do the Kubernetes pieces, right? And what that looks like. So I imagine locally, that's going to basically put them in here, but I don't know about the Kubernetes part. So let's learn. So the very worst thing that happens, being that I only have one machine, the very worst thing that happens is I break it all, and I basically have to wipe things and check things out again and rebuild, right? That's the very worst that happens. I'm not panicked about having to do that again. Would it be good? No, it wouldn't be good. It'd be kind of bad to do that. But yeah. So Aspire Kubernetes. Let's see where it is. Kubernetes, Aspirate, but they've got different. It's not just Aspirate now, is it? Because Aspire 9.3 Kubernetes. Integration updates, Azure app model, add Kubernetes environment, preview for the, yeah. So yes, let's stop running. Let's push that change. That's just a minor alter to a script. And again, if you have any questions, you have any thoughts or opinions on what I'm doing, please shout them out. I don't care if it's, it diverts. I'd rather talk about it than aspire. Opinions. I'm sure you do, Grumpy. How you doing? I was lurking in your stream earlier. How did that go? I've got to remember that I have. Some non-feature related stuff in my game. Accomplishment is good. Progress is good. So, let's see. So it's not there. So I assume we end up with a package. That just makes me feel like I'm moving papers around and improving. Yeah. Some days are just shuffle days. That's that's the hill to get over, right? I don't know how you find it, but if you stop streaming for a while, it's very easy to not stream anymore. So there's no... Okay, so let's update the packages. Gotcha. I hope everything's okay. Let's update all the packages while we're at it. Microsoft seems to be on a weekly upgrade of versions. So I'd rather upgrade everything every time I see it and have it fail and figure out what's going wrong than leave it in place and then upgrade it after I've released something and have to... Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Chosen head to knock down wall method. Yes. So we will make sure everything's upgraded frequently. We will make sure that if it fails, it all fails and we can fix it, but at least we're fixing it on a more current version and not trying to chase a major update to major libraries, because with this number of moving parts, I do not want to be versions out of date on anything. In the end, upgrade later is almost always a worse choice than upgrade now. Yes. Yeah, you do not want to leap product versions. Just leaping from Angular 17 to Angular 19 caused me a couple of days worth of work to try and get that updated, but yeah. And we will continue to see that time and time again. Mojo, hello. How you doing? Okay, so that's on the latest version. So what does this look like now? What's new? Add Kubernetes environment. So I can go into Docker Compose. Huh. So we define... Interesting. Pressing the stream button after not streaming for a while is difficult. It's why, I mean, you know, there's a multitude of reasons why we stopped streaming. Um, the nice thing is that people will see your name and know to come and say hello and you know make you feel like you haven't been gone, but then you got to get all back into that habit of actually talking and doing and chatting and yeah. What I'm going to receive when I start back up again, apparently nobody more entertaining took my time slot. I don't think there is anyone more entertaining. Um, yeah, it's you miss people, and obviously you don't want to pry into their private lives. You don't want to keep hassling them if you have any contact with them as to why aren't you streaming? Where are you? I've stopped streaming at chunks over the last couple of years for months and months at a time, and got back into it. And if my job was to change now, that it would mess up my schedule. Something wrong. Um, but yeah, uh, but that's you know yeah. Yeah, it's a balance, all right. It's a balance of there's a reason you're not around. Um, don't want to pry, don't want to be rude, um, and yeah. So essentially, how do I do this then? So var ks equals builder dot add, right? So what package is that in? Because that is meant to work. Maybe. I don't know though. My wife says the British are the most nosy people she's ever met, and most direct she's ever met. Although I think it's more for the British, it's more passive aggressive, snide comments sort of way than it is. Yeah, yeah. Um, Improvements to preview. Hi, Chandu. How you doing? With compute environment. So, hold on. Let's see. Okay, so it has with compute environment. KS. It just doesn't understand what KS is. So let's go and computer engineering or computer science in terms of what context, what I would refer to it as, or what path. And hello, that's quite an entry. I do the things with the computers, and I make them do whizzy things. What I label it as is more to do with employers, etc. Uses neither enter plumbing. We'll have robots to replace plumbers for at least 20 years. Plenty of time to make the money you can. um, as long as I thought. Last stream in December feels much longer. Was it an actual stream in December, or was it? Oh no, I pressed the button. Shut it down. Is that an actual verified stream rather than an accidental? Oh, I was cleaning the stream deck. Because you've done that before. I don't know if that counts if it's up long enough to catch it. Ah, it's just Kubernetes. Because if we could figure this out, this would be awesome. Because we could actually figure out how to do the gateway this way. Not the gateway, the tunnel. Because I can definitely see how this would be useful. But this doesn't tell me. And I know I'm not stunning at reading the documentation. Yeah, you're going to take up C coding now. Yeah, that's your that's your happy place as well. You like messing around with the hardware, and that's exactly where your comfort is at, like tinkering and playing. You don't have to feel self-conscious about the style or the coding. You're just getting the stuff done and triggering other people's imaginations. You'd be amazed how much like if you watch DIY perks, right? That's all that is a guy that was like, oh, let me see if I can do this, and he just got more and more popular and provides more and more projects. So doing stuff like that, it inspires people to do cool things. So, and you're set up for it. It's not like you don't have the equipment and or the the stuff. Just gotta get that mad science energy going. Um, Deployment and publish. So I'm going to assume because this makes it look like you can just add this, right? But it clearly doesn't work. It's not a tooling thing; it's a language thing. Spire.star. This is becoming very cluttered. Can you filter this? Orchestration. Everything's updated. What am I missing? Am I missing something that says coming in 9.4? I might say I definitely saw what's new in .NET Aspire 9.3, right? So in 9.2, we shipped our first iteration of Publish as a flexible way to configure deployments to any cloud in the app host. To ensure more flexibility, .NET Aspire 9.3 includes a new and improved publish model that distributes publishing behavior across your application graph instead of relying on a single top-level publisher. Right. Delta, thank you very much for the resub. 20 months. I appreciate that. So yesterday inspired me a little bit in terms of what's possible with Aspire. So I wanted to investigate and see if I can get the Kubernetes stuff done. So I'm just tinkering right this second with this. Right now I'm missing something though. It's not a reference. It should be there, but we don't have any of the others either. So I'm thinking I'm missing A package reference. If you had a UI component library that had a special object for AJAX requests, would you use it in your controller, or would you go through the effort to keep it out of the controller? Example, data source request in the following method. Result. Would you use it in your controller, or would you go through it? I mean, my problem with all sorts of things is blurring the UI library with your backend code. Makes your backend code less agnostic, but if it provides enough benefits, I would probably say for the sake of moving forward. But yeah, I don't like merging libraries into things that can live without them. Loki just sat down there looking at me. So, what am I missing? What am I missing? Linux x64. Let's add that in. Let's see what fun that gives us. Well, it's not their name, right? No, this is on the builder. So their examples show on the builder. So builder.add Kubernetes. So this isn't on the built app. Just want to see if that. No, it doesn't add any extra pieces there. That's probably a good thing to know exists, though. There's no Kubernetes specific packages. And then as far as I can see, and I'm pretty good at skim reading, behavior 9.3 from MySQL. YARP. We haven't even got to YARP yet. Yeah, there's no mention of. See, this is kind of interesting. But even this doesn't exist right this second, right? Yeah, I get it because because the build method, the everything else is an extension on top of that to add behavior into what that build method then produces, which is an app that, yeah. So internally it has an app, and those builders register their relevant components. So yeah, that's all there is on that. So everything else is an extension. If the goal is to swap the UI completely, Mojo, then absolutely would not pull a dependency into your UI library in the controller. I would keep it. I would keep all mentions of your UI library away. So let's have a look. We've got the repo, right? So let's have a look at and see if we can find. Add Kubernetes. Hosting.kubernetes. Now, is that in the namespace or is that a package? Because I didn't find that before, right? Aspire hosting.kubernetes. So that apparently is in the hosting. Okay. What happens if I explicitly install it? Oh, come on. Nope. It's like you're missing a package. Ah, there we go. That's why. It's because, thank you, Doctor. I never think to check that. Well, lay down, buddy. Oh, you come and say hello? Okay. No, we're not having Loki time. No, come on, bud. Loki wants to say hello. Hello, buddy. You okay? What's the matter? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Okay, we're going to try and program around a dog now. I can't reach the K key. Do you think you could sit down for me? Or lie down? Hi, Nets. How you doing? This is Loki. Loki is assisting me today, apparently. Or not assisting me. It's discouraging where I found it, to be honest. So yesterday, Mitch was on the stream and he did say the Kubernetes components are in preview. So that could have given me my hint as well. Yeah, because and as I raised it yesterday, the documentation misses some of the points. Maybe it's just not intentional. Okay, you lie down right there. That's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a 50-pound lap doggo. That's the problem. Um, add Kubernetes environment. Okay, I can't. I don't know what you want me to do, bud. You okay? um, I know, but I don't know what you want me to do. KAS. So we may get some behavior expected here. Okay. Tenant management. Um, I agree. I totally agree. Just don't tell the dog it's oblivious and you must keep it at all costs. You've chosen to lie here, buddy. If it's uncomfortable, I'm sorry. I cannot avoid the edge of the desk going into your back. Dogs do lie in very strange places, though, don't they? Yes. I'm not looking down at my lap and smiling. I apologize. I'm trying to make sure. I can't move the camera either because if I reach, I'm going to tip him off. Otherwise, I would lower the camera so you could at least see the dog that I'm at my lap with. So what does this give us as far as deployment environments go? Uno. Yes. Yes. I have not um, looked at it properly, but I do know it exists. Similar in design to what's the other one? The other XAML replacement one. Can't remember off the top of my head. Environment publish as Kubernetes service. Oh, okay, bud. I realize that you want to be here, but this is not the best place for you to be. So publishers Kubernetes service is an interesting one because I could use that. So that's got Nginx, but I could also use that for the gateway or for the tunnel. That would be good. So let's pivot a little bit here. Let's leave this alone for right a second. Right. I need to be careful I don't leave pre-release on, but yeah. Let's pivot over to this. Problem is his legs are falling off my. Yeah, unfortunately, bud, my lap isn't big enough to actually support you properly. There you go. There you go. That's better. Don't mind me while I code 5 feet from the desk. It's fine though. It's all fine. So let's validate that that's been merged. So what I'm thinking is if I can figure out how to get the tunnel deployed and up, that is the biggest single first problem because they've changed the way the tunnel works. So if I can get the tunnel up and running, then get the database up and running in a similar fashion, then yeah, this would be good because then again, I need to deploy. If I was watching a movie, this would be okay, but I'm trying to do stuff. So I clearly need to learn how to deploy the infrastructure components independently of the application. Message understood, loud and clear. Never do that again. Never merge your infrastructure and your application into a single stack. It just isn't going to work. Fine. So if I can get the application to deploy the database and deploy all the rest of the pieces, I should be able to get the application stack up and running relatively quickly. And if I can learn how to do this with Kubernetes through Aspire, it will actually help me. So the funny thing is here, Mojo and I have talked about this a lot. And I don't like the idea of Aspire being an everything tool. And I said it yesterday. I'm not gonna divert from that thing. I don't like it in terms of one-click deploy. However, for a solo developer building an application like this, I can definitely see. And if I can get the pipeline to come from it, then I'm more on board with Aspire than I've been in the past. because it now starts to tell a different story and it makes more sense to me. Because it's and Mitch said it yesterday, right? It's kind of if you can prove that the pieces come together using the technologies, well, you didn't say that, but basically, if then you could document out what steps are necessary for a DevOps group to take it. That would be useful. Yeah. So, still don't know how to properly migrate my DB. What is? Yeah, migrations are a whole different wax. Okay, so what I was doing here is I was going to go over here, go to liquid. You got to stop fidgeting, but he keeps losing his back legs to the to edge of my okay, associate user with team, 2 commits ahead. So PR, pull request, create pull request, user teams, and the yeah. So right now that is the console. Oh, hold on. Squash and merge. That is the that large key thing you saw. That's the actual exported contents of the key store, so that I can import it, and that's what gives me the mapping for all the sorry. I'm never mind. You're going to get annoyed with me because you can't get comfortable, can you? Huh? There's no comfortable way here. Loki is definitely a lab dog. They both are to some extent, but okay. Update. Let's pull that. It can be kept agnostic with compute environment. The KAS extension just appears to change the KS8S specific deployment. Also appears that the same can be achieved with compute environment or with property. So I'm going to need to pan the camera down. What? Because I'm having an intimate conversation with my lap. Let me see. Can't pan it down more than that. No, it won't. It won't go down. The camera will move to capture my face. Move the keyboard closer. I can't move the arm of the mic any better because this one just falls, Loki. It's terrible. Okay. Okay. So yeah, Mojo. I think all in all, I am coming around to the idea of Kubernetes of Aspire as a deployment tool. Now that I see that their plan is not necessarily to solve all those problems, you can do it if you want to, but you could also, like Mitch said yesterday, you could also use it to generate the documentation for how to deploy it. Although I think that was a suggestion of going off and doing a plugin because they deliver the how, and then the plugins add, or they deliver the what, and the plugins sort the how. So in theory, you could deploy a script of here's what you need to go and build, right? You could actually deploy a manifest of sorts for them to go off and build the relevant pieces, and then still have the code functional in that environment. Good morning, Mr. Anhorn. How are you? Yes. Kubernetes is the intent. Right now, this is becoming ever more difficult because Loki does not want to now surrender my left arm because he's comfortable. So we are going to finger peck our way through this mess. So the pre-rex folder like this looks like this right this second. Let's see if we can create. So this prereqs becomes more about becomes more about infra or deployment than it does about being prerequisites for the application. So let's open. I think I'd prefer an app.cs file for the deployment config. Oh, you mean instead of a product? The new project list stuff. I haven't looked at that stuff yet. I'm not quite sure how that applies to anything I'm doing right this second. I guess that as it's used more of a scripting tool, it'll become more understandable. But yeah, I haven't really figured that out yet. New project. That's interesting. You can't add a new solution when you've got it open as this. Hey Manish, how you doing? So that's going to be that. So let's close this solution down. Create a new solution. Dev prototypes. See, I don't create a lot of scripts from. I'm excited for the project. Let's say I have so many C# scripts, and it's annoying to manage just 2 files. I don't create a lot of scripts from .NET stuff. Anything that I have that's random is I've kind of been using LinkPad for years, so to the point where I probably built scripts that way. And Phil Schnabel, hello, how you doing? So I suppose LinkPad has been my answer to that for years. Kubernetes, select folder, empty solution. Project C#. I was hoping I could just do .NET LLM prompt. I do. I have a lot of one-off tasks for work, like pulling custom reports of data or migrating between 2 systems. Hey, maybe. How you doing? You do realize what that's going to trigger, right? It's going well. It's going well. We have I can't say this right now. We have Loki on my lap again. So he's currently chilling down there. Yeah. And holding my left arm, so I can only use a one-handed dev today. So and of course, I'm not going to actually get rid of Loki because that's not fair. So I'll struggle through, make the comedy. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe what we do is I figure out the setup so I can get their bed on a camera, and I put a redeem behind Doggo Cam, so everyone can have their. Like you can redeem just seeing the dogs instead of seeing me coding. KS is too hard for me. I prefer simple things like x86 assembler and shader stuff. Can we see the dog coding? I can barely get the dogs to sit, so unless the inspiration strikes them. Taylor's particularly stubborn. Forget code, show us dogs. Yeah, I'll put redeem like 5,000 points. Doggo cam for 5 minutes instead of code and whatnot. And yeah. Hey, people asking me for usage of these points. That would be a good use of points, right? And I'm sure many in the stream so far have accumulated quite a few. Prereqs. So this is going to be deploy. Let's just go with deploy. New window. 131k. Yeah. I spoke to 3 recruiters this morning. Nice. Were they productive conversations or were they just people who didn't understand what they were doing? Add existing folder. Docker. Add existing folder. Case. Doggo cam, but it's just TVD acting like a dog. Some people would be down for that one, wouldn't they? I found another large scale issue with Aspire. If you have any type of scale, you're going to generate so much observability metrics. Our new relic would be 4K a month if we sent everything to them. That is half our infra bill in Azure. Oh. Hello, Loki. You can't get irritated with me. Huh. I need something for these 546,000 points. Can you create a 50k black hole? Wow, over 500,000 points. I never had to speak with them. What, were recruiters or dogs? Metrics can be expensive. I had a metric once that cost 8,000 a month. Dear. Their jobs for me. Nobody looked at it. Single metric. Redeem the storage of metrics on DVD's machine. One was a streamer fan platform. Ooh. So I could still stream it for what? That's sweet. Redeem storage. Recruiters, dogs are fine. Yeah. Just remember, recruiters don't always know what they're talking about. They are salespeople first, not technical people. So you can wow them with great words and they just won't care because it's, can I put you in front of this person and how much can I lie about you to get you in front of this person? So they're just trying to figure out how far they can bend the truth to get you in front of someone if they feel that you're not. Yeah. So the best recruiters are very good salespeople. I actually had one company that had a recruiter on the phone that had an in-person representative, so that when I went for the interview, they met me there and introduced me to the company and validated everything was good. Well, then it was developers being unaware of how metrics are priced, plus the cluster had grown from about 4 machines to 30. Ouch. Depends on the recruiter. If you work with a company that doesn't just post everywhere, they're usually really good. Cloud pricing is so obscure that it makes me want to have an on-prem server. Yeah, cloud pricing. I mean, like I said, it cost me $5 to have those failed developers.stream instances up over the weekend, right? Just for 4 days, not doing anything because they were just restarting. So just sat there for 4 days. Yeah. I've got to get into the habit of this. If you are watching on YouTube, and you are enjoying the content, please don't forget to drop the likes. The likes help promote the video, the stream up into other people's views. And it is something that I have to remember to kind of promote more. Hey Pranav, how you doing? Welcome in. Many people are talking about going on-prem again. Places like Hessner lets you buy a rack place and put your own server there for a low cost. You don't have to deal with physical security. They've just added debug to the lowest login level. But it's like, it's mine from. I appreciate the like. Thank you very much. And how's India today? Whereabouts in India? Detail to summary. I don't know. I've said it a lot. I believe that Aspire opposed, so this is gonna be awful. He's happy. He's sleeping. Thank you for the follow. I will try and get I will try and get a doggy camera sorted out. It will be much easier than this. But yeah. Hello, Fuba. I just took a foot to the ribs. Yes, Loki. We need to get some stuff done today. It's fine. I'm some kind of confusion when I choose in 2025 Java or C#. Both are solid languages. Both have amazing support, long histories. You can do a lot with them both. Try if you're not settled on either one. I mean, if you're looking at it from a job perspective, look at what the job market in your area is doing. Look at the number of jobs. Thank you for the follow. Look at how they're going about, about things, and decide that way. I like C#. I like .NET. I have done for a long time, some 20 years or more. If I can move the keyboard here. Oh, Keycloak support as well. Hosting Keycloak. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I mean, assuming that's what you're looking for, right? You're looking for sorry, there's an ant or something crawling in my window. Yeah. Keycloak, the champion of self-hosting auth. Yeah, we looked at Keycloak during with Liquid Sky, but Keycloak requires quite a lot of customization to make it useful for multi-tenancy. Without, yeah. Bro, I don't React.js, but I want more. So switch one is hard. I want to learn, bro. Which one is hard? If you've not done any of the that sort of development, both are going to be hard. React.js does not necessarily just instantly make change anything. So I would basically give them a go. See what you want to build. If you want to build websites, both of them are going to have good frameworks for websites. Do a search, see what sort of resources you find. Build something. The tools are easy to install. See how you feel about it. And you're going to have challenges no matter which one, whether it be the web framework, whether it be, the tooling, you know, go whichever path you feel comfortable with. Need to rework my entire CV, so gonna look. No worries. Have fun with that, maybe. And now that I can do it, don't forget if you like watching development, which I assume you do, being that you're here, maybe is another streamer builds his application on stream sometimes plays games, but for the most part he's building Barely Fit, which he recently launched, which is a really good app for health and fitness tracking. So I highly recommend checking out Maybe stream. Don't need much from it. I have one role that is only assigned to my account that gives me god level, but other than that, I'm just utilizing the SSL and impersonation features. Yeah. So I'm using for Liquid Sky. For anyone new to the stream, I probably should start the app up and show what I'm actually building and why I'm playing with Kubernetes, or attempting to play with Kubernetes, with a dog sat on my lap. He's just looking at me like, I don't care. I'm comfortable. I'm warm. I'm comfortable. Thank you, Pranav. We will try and get some actual. This is Loki is a pit mix. He looks like a lab from most directions. And I have Taylor, who's a smaller one, a little more distinct pit features to her. But yeah, Loki is please restart. Loki is £50. I know. I'm sorry. I wish I could show. The camera will not let me pan down. I would show you where he's currently sat, but I will try and sort out a doggo cam. How's that sound? Do you want to be on TV? He's very forgiving. So Liquid Sky is the project that I'm building right now. This is what I'm trying to put to Kubernetes. So for anyone who hasn't been here before, Liquid Sky is a project management and planning tool that I'm building to solve some of the problems I see with our workflows as developers. Our product teams oftentimes are creating stories for us to work on that are lacking in requirements, they're lacking in focus, or they're lacking in the specifics necessary for a developer to take and run with. So what I'm trying to do is build out a system of planning and development as separate concepts. The way it works, so open dashboard right now, the second, you have initiatives. Initiatives are groupings of work. I suppose we all kind of know what an initiative is. But the idea is that you can kind of set expected dates on these things, and they're expected dates, not actual deadlines, is the intent. So, okay, Loki, I'm sorry, buddy. You can say hello, and now you can say goodbye. You're both too warm. I know, bud. It's okay. You're a good boy. I don't have any snacks. Yeah, lay down. I get your treats afterwards. You did not want to see the look I just got for that one. There you go. Go lay down. So Liquid Sky provides the ability to record planning items, as they're referred to. Planning items have requirements, and requirements have tasks. A planning item requirement is intended to be quite a detailed thing. I'm obviously a developer. I'm writing basic things in here to try and fill out the content. But the idea is that the requirements will be quite detailed with expectations. From there, you can the development team should analyze those requirements and build out a list of tasks. The developers would focus primarily in their tasks system, not the actual planning items. And they'll be able to go through the planning, the tasks that they've created and estimate, assign them, etc. And then from there, work in sprints to get stuff done, right? So being able to assign work and being able to get all done. Our front-end dev is tech lead currently, and he creates stories, personal tasks. As a developer, I want to understand SQL views, or as a front-end developer, I want to understand the endpoint structure. I think we'd abuse Liquid Sky, to be honest. You create tasks. Everything will be tasks. You go in to here and add tasks, and planning would never see it. The problem we're going to have with that is representing that to the product team as what the sprints look like in terms of planned versus unplanned work, right? So the goal there would be to highlight, okay, well, the team took 25% of their capacity this sprint working on unplanned stuff. And, you know, that's for the team and the product group to argue the toss of. So that sort of stuff would be, can I pick up this item? I estimate it as this. And again, you want to avoid open-ended planning, right? Because that's just wasted effort. So this is what I'm building. This is what I'm trying to deploy. So what I want to try and do is, can I take a simple thing like this and deploy it to Kubernetes? Adds a Kubernetes environment to the application model, the name of the Kubernetes environment resource. So is that like that? If you have not been in the stream before, the concept of the stream is one of me just sharing what I'm doing, not necessarily with the intent of being productive. If you have questions, thoughts, opinions on what I'm doing, if you think I'm going off, on doing stuff I shouldn't do, you're more than welcome to join in the conversation. You're more than welcome to ask questions. I don't care about, how deep they are. If you want to know more about the design, why I've done stuff, how I've done stuff, that's okay to ask. I don't want to make it about just you can kind of figure it out, because this project is large, right? This is a diagram you'll see commonly on stream. This is the overall architecture of Liquid Sky as it stands. So there's a lot to it, but you should feel free to ask questions if you have any. Don't feel like you can't ask. Lay down, bud. I am getting dirty looks from the dog. Okay. So if we do I'm not one to complain easily. If you're not causing harm to the user, I'm all fine. So the intent is to get this building and get this deploying, and then I can continue on with the development, because the next stage of development is a big one. It's getting all the changes stuff working, which is going to involve a lot of reflection. Okay, so okay, what don't I know right now? I do not know how to take a Docker image and deploy it. So add container. So var SQL equals builder dot add container. That has a name, ls SQL server, and an image. So that's going to be that. With which is Kubernetes service. So configure dot. Okay, so this is where we get to looking at what we did previously. New window. So this is the current Pulumi deployment, but the SQL Server stuff should actually be similar, right? Because this is all basically Loki. Just lie down, bud. Lay down. No, not sit down. Lay down. You're okay. You're okay, buddy. Okay. So we've got some parameters in the config map. So let's have a look at. I'm going to move this over here so I can keep an eye on it, but not actually keep flicking back and forth, because that will get annoying quickly. So configure that config map equals new config map data equals MS SQL data var opt MS SQL log accept Euler. So I realize, by the way, that one of the things that I am going to need to tackle in the very near future is the choice of database. Most of the code is pretty agnostic. I can swap out different database platforms. I'm not particularly concerned about that. However, I am going to have to worry about licensing. So if I release this into production and I start asking people to pay for it, that's going to be a problem, because I'm going to end up with a licensing issue, because SQL Server is not cheap, and I'm virtually hosting SQL Server. So I do need to be careful of that piece. No, did not mean to have that pop up, sorry. So it may be that I can consider Postgre. It might be that I consider other alternatives. The intent is not to put this in the cloud anytime soon, so that will, aid with that decision somewhat. But yeah. Okay, so we've got the config map configured. The password I'll figure out in a minute. So stateful set. So configure stateful set equals new. Well, it's very familiar, doesn't it? So metadata equals new object v1 metadata name ls SQL Server. If I do this right, this might actually come up and have the data. Namespace name equals SQL Server. Labels equals labels is app. Made that too confusing. I'm annoyed. People started uploading clear art as logos for movies and shows. How the heck am I supposed to filter that? Destroy the design. Oh. Whoops. I thought I could do. It's one of those things where I always forget the initializers for. No, made such a cool screensaver, and then an image that with that logo comes by. Ouch. Okay, so so funny. How do you filter that? I mean, you can't. What do you change? Well, I can do everything here. New service. They've mapped everything. This is basically Pulumi 2.0 at this point. Metadata equals. Yeah, okay, so let's do this. Extract method, introduce variable, labels. Actually, let's do that there right this second. Metadata equals new object, labels equals labels, name equals ls equals service. So right now, if this was to come up, um, uh-oh, uh-oh. No reserve words. If this was to come, if this comes up and works, this becomes an effort of porting everything I've done in Pulumi into Aspire. It also might help me with getting the tunnel back up. Might do. I'm still in a similar position with that one. So, while they should not be allowed to be uploaded in the logo section, what they should do is add the extra image types, both fan art and the TV. Gotcha. So it's a categorization problem. You need the platform to. So you're relying upon a third party service of which you have no control, right? So you the number of bugs that you can get are quite high because you can't control the content and there's no guarantee on the yeah. So short of having them change their platform to better categorize or identify. Yeah, I get it. You're okay, Loki. You can lie down. I get what it is now. I made my API client just in time before they removed the whole type spec from the doc. Oh. So go lay down, bud. So spec equals new spec. So this is going to be type is cluster IP ports equals port. I'm reading it and translating it at the same time. It's not working right. New list. So that's fine. New service port v1. Port equals 1433. Target port equals 1433. Protocol equals TCP. What don't you like about that? Oh. What is get? Does not support setting of them. Do you have a parameter? No parameters. So how do I do that? I had a choice of using an existing API client library or make my own. I decided to make my own so I can make all the clients for the different providers the same. All of them are behind a rate limiter that queues requests. I never get a 49. Nice. Yeah, so you can control it more. Makes sense. Okay, so this is only a get. So how do I set the ports? That's kind of a fundamental thing. Selector equals labels. I'm kind of dead in the water if I can't set the ports. That would be kind of... Let's see if I can do... Please say this isn't the case. Bar, because I saw the return type. I think I'm right. Service spec equals... Right. And then if we do service spec dot ports dot add. Port equals 1433, target port equals 1433, protocol equals TCP. Oh no. I don't like that. Why is that? So what that tells me is that there's a design or there's something I'm kind of missing in my configuration of Kubernetes that means that they don't want you building the ports the same way everything else is built. So there's something, or there's a mistake. Service spec. Well, that's what I'd normally lean towards. I'd lean towards there being a problem. Okay, so let's go and do the storage. So this is already getting kind of out of hand. This is impressive. New directory, configuration, SQL Server, configuration, public static. What does that take? Kubernetes resource. Kubernetes resource. Figure. Enough. So what I'm trying to do there is just neaten up that piece, right? I'm just trying to make sure that I can make the methods and stuff out of this. So this will all come together. And now from here, I just call configure there. So I don't end up with a load of code sat there. Because the bigger that gets, the less maintainable this gets. And at a glance, I can't see what I'm doing. So moving it out here is going to give me a little bit more of a chance. So what we're going to do is we're going to move that to be public static string namespace equals ls equal server. Yeah, that's fine. Labels, we're going to worry about labels later. We can do this now. Extract method, configure service. So we can break these out independently now, which cleans that up a little bit. So the service spec is done. So now we're going to do the storage. Labels start to become a bit more, but we'll figure that out again afterwards. Labels, as far as I can tell, in Kubernetes are kind of like categorization things. They allow you to group and find things by the right labels. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's the way it feels right this second. So, and again, all I'm doing here is I'm copying what I've already built in Pulumi into Aspire. I avoided Pulumi C# to begin with. So this might have been a lift, like literally a lift out and dump and put into new objects. Yeah. So what I need to do this second is create storage. So that is, let's see if we can do it. Private static. What's this going to return? This is going to return persistent. They've got a lot of it in. Create storage, Kubernetes resource, configure. Labels. Okay. So to do this, what you do is you create a persistent volume, then you create a persistent volume claim. Yes. And we'll return the claims to build the spec for the stateful set. So const data storage PV equals new persistent volume ls data storage. So at this point, oh no, that's not a name. const. I'm literally copying the TypeScript. It's that close. So name, kind. So is kind storage? Metadata equals new object meta. This is going to name equals ls data storage pv. My hope is that it's transparent what produces the Kubernetes stuff. So my storage already exists on that. So if I match these names, when I bring this up, which I'm hoping I can get done before the end of the stream, when I bring this up, I can see this one doesn't use those labels. Labels dot join new dictionary storage. I don't like that. Hold on. Join doesn't work that way. Is it looking for that? Storage, SQL server, data. I don't think that works that way. No, it doesn't like that. Take care, Mojo. Have a great day. What am I doing wrong? It's not going to like it anyway. Yeah, why don't you like that? Because you can't say join. Yeah, it's because of the way I'm doing it. I don't often do that sort of stuff. I know what I want to do. If memory serves, this is not as clean as I think it is. Yeah. Let's just do it the same way. We don't need to. My thought there was to add in the extra keys, but let's just not even bother with it right a second. It doesn't matter. New dictionary, storage, ls SQL, SQL Server data. Again, I'm trying to match the names here because then I can do the thing. Spec equals new persistent volume spec v1. Access modes equals read write once. Persistent volume reclaim is retain. Storage class name equals standard. Capacity equals new storage 5GI. No, it's not how it works still. The way of doing that. I can never remember the shortcuts for it. New dictionary storage. It's funny in Pulumi that's typed. Capacity is typed. Host path equals new, and that's an object. Okay. Path equals mount SQL Server data. So that is what's going to give me access to the actual host. And that's what's going to allow this to retain the data that's already there. So ideal version of this, I bring this up and then I connect to the SQL Server on Kubernetes and I can see the data of Liquid Sky. If that works, that is awesome. Is there any extra? No. Oh, interesting. Create storage. So we have a persistent volume for data, and then we create the claim for the data, right? So that's going to look like this, right? Var data storage PVC equals new persistent volume claim spec v. Well, no, persistent volume claim. Did that actually take an argument then? Am I just no, didn't. Okay. It's the AI making stuff up. So this is what this is going to look like, right? Metadata equals new PVC, ls data storage PVC, namespace is namespace, labels is the same. So that matches the claim up with the storage, right? Spec equals new persistent volume claim spec there. It's weird that the volume claim and the data thing are almost identical. Oh, this request. So you can have multiple volume claims against a volume. Because this is claiming all 5 gig of that. Right. Okay, I get it now. Spec access modes equals read, write once. Storage class name equals standard. Resources equals new. Right, so this is where the difference is, right? Requests equals new. Storage. That is the quick dictionary. So why do you... Oh, you did accept it there. I thought I tried that before and it complained. Okay. That's better. So that's that. And so ultimately we're going to return data storage PVC. Right? Null, null. Right, now we're going to go and get the other two. They're done almost identically. So let's create a method. Extract method. Method. Data storage. Right, so that returns that PVC. It doesn't like having that way. That's hilarious. I could be more explicit. That's complaining because it actually never uses the volume directly. It creates it and the variable's creating it for the sake of creating it. So yeah. So we're going to copy this because the rest are almost identical. Fetch. So the difference is fetch log, and then the storage is SQL Server log, and that is logs, and that is log storage, SQL Server log. That's it. Log storage, as I've learned before. Right. And then we copy it one more time. This machine has a terabyte hard drive in it, so I'm not particularly fussed about. So I have, and then backups, and the backup is fetch backup storage volume claim. So this is backup, 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 10 gig, not 5. This is backup, backup, and 10 gig. And that's backup storage PVC. Now up here, and yes, I realize there's a lot of stuff going on there. We can do, instead of doing that, we can do return that, fetch, log, fetch, backup. Right. So we don't need those. We don't need those because nothing in there is actually using the builder to do it. It's just preparing the information so we can add it in, I think. Yeah, because now we do in here var storage equals, so var data log backup equals create storage. And then we've got the config map. We've got the so the stateful set. So I have the config map coming before the stateful set. I don't think these matter, but this is all about preparation, right? So then when we do the spec, this is where this gets a bit heavier. Spec equals new, right? So I think we need to return this service. So well, let's just do introduce field ls SQL service name. Doesn't need service SQL. It's redundant. Introduce constant. Next. So that all great as consistency. Just make them that way. spec. So we have service name equals service name. Doesn't specify namespace in here because that's on the, yeah, that's on there. Replicas equals 1. We don't need multiple. Selector equals, okay, so this is going to be match labels, yeah, label selector. Match labels equals labels. Of course, they made that an object. Okay. Template equals new pod template spec. This is the actual thing that's going to get deployed. So when you build it, you have the kind of the what's it called, the definition, the map of what it all is, and then what this is doing is specifying when you bring up an instance of this service, this actual SQL server, here's how you're going to build it, and here's what you're going to give it. Okay, so metadata equals new object metadata v1, labels equals labels, spec equals new pod spec. No. Template. New. What? Why is that? Something smelly here. So what I'm meant to be able to do is on the template, I'm meant to set its spec. New pod template spec. Oh, there you go. Why? Oh, is that mistyped? But that's the same. Oh, that's the template spec. Okay, so this is the pod spec. Okay, this is the actual thing. Now I was hoping to get through this, if I'm honest. This would have been awesome. Containers equals new container v1. This looks very similar to Pulumi. I might have to check this out and see how they handle async values. Yes. It's very similar, isn't it? Yeah. Gotta figure out how to organize this. Is driving me crazy. This idea of it's always driven me crazy, the idea of building big files. That's not a clean code fear either. However, I've run out of time. I hope this has been somewhat enlightening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to try and build this. I don't know if I'll get this done today, but I'm going to continue trying to build this out. The goal will be to start it up and see if this SQL server starts up and has access to my data, then that's awesome because I can proceed with the rest. Even if I build it right now in parallel to my Docker Compose stuff, I can run the Docker locally and then run this as a Kubernetes deployment and have this running. But that also then allows me to kind of think about how do I want to do the Aspire host stuff. Yeah, I can organize it. Yeah, it's just a case of what's the right organization when it's just basically methods associated with the same object. I'm just kind of, yeah. But as I learn more, we'll go. So if I get this working, then I can port everything else over. And okay, it's going to take its time to do it. But I can port everything else over and get that producing the Kubernetes components. Then I have a solid answer for how I'm going to get this to work. My fear is, so once I've got the SQL Server up, I think what I'll do is I'll try and do the tunnel. And if I can get the tunnel up and running, that gives me a lot more opportunity, because then I can progress. And then again, with this as an external setup, I can run this, get it all deployed. If I make changes, I can make those changes. But But every time I deploy the application, then I can just make that a reusable thing, and I can worry about the pipelines piece and get it to the application run through deployment pipelines. And then just bring everything down for maintenance when I do changes to the actual infrastructure pieces. So that would definitely move this forward. So yeah, I am definitely for this particular design, I'm definitely liking the path, but I still have fears for enterprise deployment. But like Mitch said, right, we can always produce something to produce a document to, hey, here's the pieces you need, here's why you need them. It wouldn't be beyond the realms because the actual tooling is the actual tooling is producing this data. So yeah. However, we have a day job. We have to go and do the day job. The day job is necessary. So I will return tomorrow and continue on with this. Hopefully by the end of tomorrow's stream, I've gained momentum. We've got some of these things deployed, and then on Thursday, which will be a longer stream due to a day off work, although I do have an appointment at midday, so I've got to remember that part. You know, we can go for 3 or 4 hours on Thursday and hopefully get Liquid Sky deployed. But let's not count our chickens, right? So he's been around. He's been very quiet today. But if you like .NET development, do not forget that One Line is also a streamer. He is streaming his work stuff Wednesdays through Thursdays, and on Fridays hosts a community day. Is a great place to go and be. Styling Wars. So I highly recommend that. Guacamole, good morning. I am sorry, but unfortunately I'm coming to an end of the stream. Sadly, I am paid to do a job. I'm trying to make it fun, but it's a slog at the moment. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. So, you know, hopefully by the end of the week, you know, we can have this up and running again, and people are able to go and use it if they choose. You know, it's funny. Stoney prompted me to make sure I asked the question on AAOA stream. And I was not happy at having to play around with CSS for hours. But I'm but because I'd put the effort in, I'm more proud now of the UI than I was before, and I really want to get this out there and move it forward. So I'm very grateful for the minor nudge to say something, because I think it looks a lot better than it did. I think it looks a lot sharper and a lot cleaner, and a lot more usable. So yeah. However, if you are interested in asking more questions, if you would like to know more about the development or the things, or follow up with anything I've done on the stream, the Discord is linked in the cards below. You're more than welcome to join and have a chat. Will you ever forgive me for bullying you into doing CSS? Yeah. What I would like, my ideal version of this, by the way, talking about CSS, is I would like, I'm gonna snooze that again. I would like to be able to have someone who can design a real site, professional site, and I would happily spend weeks implementing that design. Right, we've played with some AI tools, we've generated some stuff, it looks okay. Some of this is AI generated, some of it's like an amalgamation. but I would really love to be able to afford to hire someone to do the actual design and then implement that. That I find fascinating. Ironically, considering I dislike CSS, the implementation of someone else's vision is something I do find quite fascinating. Not enough for AAOA. I have looked. I do not have that sort of money just on hand. So yeah, and I've looked on Fiverr, and I've tried to do the lower cost. It's just you get what you pay for. So I will have to say, but once I'm comfortable with a feature set as it is, yeah, I'll have to set a budget. But it we'll see. Yeah. But anyway, CSS work is a good candidate for Copilot agent mode, maybe. Oh no, CSS is kind of a mixed bag, right? Folder Mortgage, that's an awesome name. Thank you for the follow. Okay, but anyway, it is 9:10 again. I'm running late. Unfortunately, I do have to finish the stream here. I do stream from 7 to 9 Monday through Friday. Mondays and Fridays are developers.stream days, with Liquid Sky taking up the remaining 3. I'm glad to be back to this. You know, we'll see if we can move the deployment forward. But anyway, we're going to raid Anna. Anna is building a writers platform with .NET. It is a fascinating effort. Unfortunately, I don't get to watch much after I end the stream. So please say hi, and I will see you again tomorrow or around Twitch during the day. So thank you all. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.